Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and today we're talking about the Atom. I'll be referencing the Astro here as well. I got this in a wide variety of spring conditions. So let's talk snowboard dating app here, some things that'll make you want to swipe right. This has a cool asymmetrical base plate. It has stance, angle, support, response, adjustability. It has a minimalist yet stiff high back. It has very comfortable straps. It gives you a nice balance of response and butterability. It's very adjustable. It has nice energy return out of the bottom, but a very rubbery, damp top. Some things that might make you want to swipe left. These hybrid discs can fit setback inserts, but you can't adjust your stance width in those. There's still too much stretch for my taste in the toe straps and to a lesser extent in the ankle straps. So let's talk Highback Flex. As you look at this, you think, oh, this is a soft freestyle high back. Well, check this out. It's very stiff. It has a little bit of twist for how stiff it is, but not much. And there's very little give going back. It's not the stiffest high back I've ever been on by a good bit, but it's way stiffer than you would think by looking at how much is cut out here. If you compare this to the Astro, which looks like it might be more high back, you can see this has more give, a good bit more twist, especially on this side versus this side, and a little bit of give back. I can get my palm to flex forward and the top of the high back to go back a little bit. It's still on the medium side. I would say this is medium stiff, but it looks like it's soft. When it comes to flex underfoot and butterability, this is great for that. You can see there's no contact. It's all foam and just that hybrid mini disc. It's pretty close to a mini disc, and so is the butterability. In same day, same boot, same board tests, kept switching bindings. I found that these were pretty buttery and they soften up the torsional flex underfoot. You can feel that with more medium to softer boards. With stiffer boards, it's harder to feel. And when it comes to turn initiation and response, you can set these up two different ways. When I set them up this way for a little more freedom of movement, it sits a little lower on the boot versus the Astro, and that's the example of how you can set it up the other way where it sits higher on your boot, more up around your ankle. That gives you more support and more response. This felt less responsive than the Astro. But when you flip it around, this feels a little bit more responsive than the Astro, even if this is set for the more responsive setting. It's nice to have a binding that can work with a wide variety of boards and turn just about anything without overpowering it too. They still have a smooth feel to them edge to edge. They don't have a sharp beginning to the turn and have a continuous smooth feel throughout. That's pretty responsive. When it comes to shock absorption and dampening, first off, you got that boost tech. I don't know what it's really called. And it was on all the Adidas snowboard boots before they left the industry like Nike. But this has excellent shock absorption and a good bit of return. It makes a board that's poppy more poppy. It makes a board that's less poppy a little more poppy. I love this feel. And then on top of that foam, throughout the entire footbed, is this very damp, thick rubber top that really dampens up the ride. These have a nice balance between being damp and giving your board a little more pop. I really enjoyed it. In comparison to the Astro, it's just all a lighter, softer EVA foam from the top of the footbed all the way down to the bottom. And that is very shock absorbent and pretty damp as well, but this felt maybe a touch more damp. This thick rubber really had to compensate for this bouncy foam, but it still overall felt a touch more damp than this. When it comes to support, these ankle straps are great. As I talked about in response, you can change the angle for a little more freedom of movement, or you can flip them the other way and they look like this, gives you more support. One thing though, is these ankle straps stretch a lot. They have a stretchy feel to them, not like the Rome ones that just go forever. They cause 0 pressure points, but they feel a little stretchy, a little givey. Their toe straps here have a much stiffer material that's less stretchy than Rome's, but it still stretches a little too much for my taste. Overall though, very good support. I didn't feel like I was missing a support bar here, and I like this asymmetrical feel. The ratchets are really smooth. I can do this one-handed pretty easy. They don't feel grabby. They feel like they're gonna last a long time. When it comes to boot to binding adjustability, yeah, it has all the cool toolless features. If you want forward lean, you have to do it down here on these sides right here and here. That's kind of a pain compared to the Astro's easy forward lean adjuster, but that's all the basic shit. Let's talk about how this can center your boot, so therefore it's centered on board and you get much more symmetrical response. This can do a very good job because you can slide this whole thing backwards and forwards. Then you can pop the top and slide this forward or backwards. So when it comes to stance width adjustability, these hybrid mini discs do some cool things. This set up as a mini disc does such a great job giving you the stance width you want on just about any board. These are very adjustable and do a good job, but as you can see, you've got more slide. However, if you're setting up with setback inserts, like you'll find on the Bataleon Beyond Metals, the Goliaths, some United Shapes boards, some Yes boards, some Jones, and many others out there that have setback inserts. These will work as a full-size disc setup, but you don't have the sliding capability of full-size discs like my Union Forces do here. I actually didn't ride Bataleon bindings on Bataleon boards in powder because it had a 22.5 inch stance width with their setback inserts. So then I'm stuck at 22.5 if I want to try to utilize that setback. With my Union Force, I could slide them in a good way and get closer to my 21.5 inch stance width. I just had more options with these over these. But other than that, as a mini disc, the stance width adjustability is near excellent. Of course, they work with ESTs, but so do most bindings. So overall, I was thoroughly impressed with Bataleon bindings, and especially so the Atom. It has this really cool feel that's kind of like a balance between the cleaver and the katana in Rome's line, but still a dash of its own thing. This works very well with more demanding boards out there in the all-mountain to freeride world, but you could throw it on a pretty aggressive mountain freestyle board and have a good time as well. I think I liked the Astro a touch better, but this in no means is a bad binding. They're very good, very recommendable. They'll be on my list this year when people email me for advice, and depending on the board you choose, these might be in that recommendations list. If you have setback inserts, it's a maybe. Only if the board's stance width on the setback inserts matches yours. So there you have it. Hope this helps.